Gentrification. It was always a negative word for me. I never really looked in its meaning though. When I'm part of this process, I never asked myself this question before, but by doing this project realized that I am contributing to it and how complex this issue is. My name is Vera and I'm originally from Belarus. I live in Hackney for 3.5 years in the area which is part of the City Fringe Opportunity area and undergoing rapid redevelopment. I'm trying to get different perspectives and show the complexity of issues related to gentrification and regeneration of the area.
Sweden. So it's about 16 years. So here it's maybe it's about 7 years. We're renting, yeah.
Hello, I'm Joya and I'm originally from Germany, but I live in Hackney now for over 10 years. We own the place, me and my husband, and it's now the second place that we own.
My name's Jacqueline Day and I live in Islington. I've been living in London all my life actually, which is 43 years. No, I live with my parents, unfortunately. Yeah, can't get onto the property ladder.
I was born in the States, I grew up in New Zealand, and now London is home. Almost 6 years. Just on the edge between, I guess, Islington and Hackney, so Dalston, or Dalston adjacent.
I'm Tina. I've always lived in Hackney. I was born in Hackney and I've lived here all my life. I rent, yeah. I live in a flat. Purpose built, it was built in 1928, but it's a really big flat.
My name's Avis and I've been living in Hackney all my life. I'm renting and I prefer to rent. I've never been a house owner. My parents have never been a house owner and I actually don't mind renting.
Okay, so my name's Corinne and I'm from London, born and raised in London.
And I'm Daniel and I grew up in London.
So we're based in London, Hackney, on the De Beauvoir estate. Daniel is a leaseholder.
The leaseholders.
My name is Connor and I'm from Dublin, Ireland, and I've been living in London for 3.5 years. So we rent an apartment. We've rented this apartment for about 10 months now, and previous to that we rented a different apartment in Hackney.
Hi, I'm Stacey Jane Cox. I'm from Bethnal Green, Tower Hamlets. Been in London my whole life. They call me a Cockney. If you're born within Bow Bells, then you're a Cockney. My nan bought the property in the right to buy, so then it went to my parents and now I'm there, so.
Gentrification is an interesting one because I would say it's both negative and positive.
In some ways it does feel like the kind of normal working class are kind of getting more pushed out of London in general.
I think it's kind of a natural cycle that happens in a lot of big cities. So I think it's a natural cycle that you see a lot, but it's not bad in that it leads to improvements in the standard of services and the quality of housing in an area, and it's also a natural change in the development of the area. So I don't think it's necessarily a terribly bad thing. I think the city's changing all the time. So I think it's more of a process of change, and sometimes for people find change difficult.
But then they've kind of forgot the people that was there originally, if that makes sense.
Yes.
Do you know what I mean?
Yeah,
because obviously these people can't afford the new prices.
Yeah.
And that can be in business as well. People could have a business for years, it's a family business, and then there's a changeover, and then obviously taxes and things go up and they literally can't afford it, so they have to close their business and move out of London. So yeah, I think those kind of things is quite sad.
And it has obviously negative effects for the people who already live in an area because the prices rise and to some degree like their local shops might get replaced by some other shops.
It's tough because I think I don't want to see local people and communities displaced unfairly, but also I can understand that people who own buildings and want rent, they're looking for, they're doing that for financial reasons.
The thing of Hackney's definitely coming up in the world, and of course that means more money. The development that are going up now are crazy, and you can't even park by the property because it's a joke. It's honestly, they're putting new ones up near Amherst Road and they're asking for thousands. Certain people have to get certain people in, and I think Tower Hamlets is rated the poorest borough in London. If you read up it, we are the poorest borough, and I think Hackney's only 3 above us, the poorest. So yeah, you see the rich people are moving in and the poor people moving out. The council's selling off all the properties, it's the big developments, it's not nice.
Some of it comes down to is that people feel anxious for their own livelihoods and they're looking for their own, but they're really looking after their own micro community. They're not actually talking about the broader diverse social mix, because when it comes down to it, what I've observed is that people are out for themselves and their slice of the community really first, and they'll use anything else they can to back them up, but that's what they're really after. They want to protect themselves, and I think it's a shame. It's hard to get people to think more broadly, but yeah.
Well, it's both good and bad, because for me, I'm kind of, like you were saying before, like how you're kind of part of it in a way, because I'm obviously, I'm able to still live here. So it is, and it's nice that I can walk through the park and people aren't going to stab me and mug me and stuff, because obviously that's a good thing. But on the other hand, there's people who they won't be able to stay here because it's too expensive, and that's not so good. So it's kind of, there's definitely two sides of it, I think.
I think what is interesting and sometimes quite worrying about the gentrification is that, you know, it just seems to be very white. You know, it just the place that it's young people and it's young affluent people, and then maybe there's another wave of people who are sort of middle aged like us, but very, you know, bankers basically, coming in and buying the million pound houses just across the road. And I just think sometimes with the planning for around communities that have been here for a long time, they're not very considerate of the impact on people here.
It makes people feel quite demoralised, you know. Everything's kind of very flashy and cool around us.
It's just a normal change, Vera. I'll tell you why. Because styling and money and people's way of thinking has changed. So you just have to have the place similar to who we have in the area.
Yeah, there's been a lot of people that have bought flats. So, and obviously, you know, the hipster types. So, you know, they'd probably say like good morning, or, you know, like when they say oh hi or whatever, which I always greet people with, you know, like when I see them. But actually knowing them, no.
From a lot of people that I knew or spoke to just on a daily basis, walking around, they'll be like, oh, I feel like the government is trying to move us out of our area, Hackney, we've lived in for so long, and move us out, and then move the up and coming in.
When I meet people from like the original or the previous community that was here, that we invade at the moment here, then I think they always said that it was a good change at the moment.
Why do you have to have an income of £100,000 a year to be able to do that? It's like basically if you're earning less than £50,000 or £60,000, it's like North Circular or beyond. Yeah, get out and spend a lot of your small income commuting, and a lot of your spare time commuting. You know, and.
But I think it's about to go one step further, and it's about to be commercialized, and it's not normal, like it's not single people and families moving in anymore. It's actually corporations buying areas and developing it without having any connection to the local community, and that's the problem.
When it starts to look systemic, or like it's being kind of being planned, and there's too many people eyeing it up as a sort of something they're going to make a lot of money out of, I think it's really negative.
And that is what's happening here. I mean, you look at what's happened to the Colville estate down the road. I don't know what proportion of people have been moved along and moved out and or are going to return, but it's like a ghost estate, and it's going to be completely demolished.
I don't think, for example, making sure that houses are habitable and safe for people is gentrification. I think that's basic human rights. I don't think that having gangs kind of, I don't want to say wiped out, but cracking down on criminal activity, I don't think that's gentrification. I think that's more about making a place safe and habitable for people to live. And I think there's, making sure that wherever you get your cooked breakfast, that it meets minimum standards for hygiene. I don't think that's gentrification. I actually think those are really important. That's important for the health of people. Making it safe to walk on a street at night and have street lights and have your rubbish picked up properly. None of that. That's not. I think people think that's gentrifying, but I really think that people have a lower expectation maybe of standards of life.
At its most benign, gentrification is some posh people who want to move into the area, maybe do some nice things, set up a nice deli, paint the front doors with Farrow and Ball paint, and just settle in. At its sort of most unbenign, it's social cleansing.
It's about changing the demographic in Shoreditch, changing the population in Shoreditch. It feels grubby. It feels like they want to change the population. It's too working. Hoxton Street hasn't gentrified in the way they wanted it to. The smart stuff hasn't come up the road.
This opportunity area was created with the collaboration of the council and the Greater London Assembly and the Mayor of London and so on. And it runs all the way up Kingsland Road to Dalston from the city, and it runs all the way up Cambridge Heath Road and Hackney, Mayor Street, up to Hackney Central. And the plan for the opportunity area, which is called the City Fringe Opportunity Area, was finalised in December 2015. It's a 100-page document. Most people don't even know it exists. The current population of Hackney hardly gets a mention. We're regarded as an adjunct to the city, and that's why the city is advancing up through Hackney, and things like this opportunity area, which allows higher buildings and denser buildings, allow that to happen. Opportunity areas. They're not an opportunity for us, unfortunately.
Yes.
Oh yeah, totally.
I think I am by just being here.
Yeah, definitely.
Yes, I think I am. I am going to the hipster cafes, and I did buy the flats from the local old residents.
Totally, and unashamedly, we've mostly lived it's been almost 12 years since we've lived in Europe. Mostly chosen to live in up and coming areas, rougher areas, because I think it gives you. I don't want to live with a pack of expats. It's not my cup of tea. We've cleaned up, we've made our flat, we've renovated it, we've made it more attractive, so it's worth more money. So in a way, that's contributing to the gentrification.
I mean, we're foreigners who moved into the area. I'm a city employee, so a bit of a cliche in that regard. We have different expectations about the social area, about the safety, and about the services and the types of shops and things that we want to see, and we are willing to pay more money and live in a different style of apartment. So yes, we are competing with people who might have lived here for longer for accommodation.
I'm here, and I'm clearly taking advantage of it by being here and kind of, I don't know. Yeah, it's difficult to say, really. Well, exactly. Yeah.
I would love to stay in London 100%, but do I think I'll be able to live here forever? No, because I think I'm going to be one of those statistics that has to move out. But that's when money comes into things. You see, that's when kind of the rich win. because I've known people before that are in the same situation on the same street, that they've then put the rent up to a ridiculous amount of money because they can get a certain amount per calendar month. And I certainly can't afford that, because we would be talking my month's salary would be 1 week's rent, and I can't afford that. And that is the sad thing, because, you know, I don't, you know, there's no trouble, do you know what I mean? I would more than be willing to pay my bills and everything on time, but I just can't afford it. So, yeah.